Hey Samfam, this is Shreya from Samaya, and today we are going to discuss about SA 220 quality control of an audit or financial statement. You see, first we'll discuss about what's the difference between SQC1 and SA 220. SQC1 are the quality control procedures that were mostly done in audit firm. This was quality control procedures that were done while doing the audit. That is, quality control procedures have to be followed by all personnel who are in the audit firm, that is a client clientee, that's the auditor. Here the quality control have to be performed or have to be maintained by the engagement team, that is who have gone to audit an entity. And with that said, we'll move on to our first summary portion. And this summary portion is not so important, but you have to check this one day before the examination to get together all the fundamentals together in place to write your answers better. The objective of auditor is to implement quality control procedures at engagement level that provide auditor with reasonable assurance that he complies with professional standards, regulatory and legal requirements, and audit report issued is appropriate in circumstances. Okay, they are saying that the objective of the auditor under this standard is that he have to implement some quality control procedures at the engagement level, that is while performing an engagement, that is audit, to obtain reasonable assurance that what he has two duties. What is first thing? He has to comply with all the professional, ethical and regulatory requirements. What are professional standards? That is the standards on accounting, regulatory as per law, legal requirements. That is what independence, integrity, objectivity, professional competence and due care, etc. And why he had taken an engagement, why he had done is doing audit, is to provide an audit report. They're talking about that. Again, the responsibility of the auditor is to provide auditor's report which is appropriate. And second thing is, these are a few definitions that were given. We'll just go through it once. Engagement quality control review, a process designed to provide an objective evaluation before the report is issued. So, talking about the objective evaluation here. You see, objectivity is a professional principle, fundamental principle of professional ethics, right? Objectivity. So, they are asking us to recheck our objectivity through an engagement quality control reviewer before the audit report was issued. And who can be appointed as a engagement quality control reviewer? Any qualified external person or a partner other than the person in the firm. Monitoring. Monitoring is a process comprising on ongoing consideration and evaluation of firm systems of quality control, including periodic inspection of selected completed engagements, mostly like a peer review, designed to enable the firm to obtain a reasonable assurance that the system of quality control is operating. Mostly, whenever we see monitoring, what we think of? We think that the engagement partner has to monitor the engagement team, or the entity or the management has to monitor the operations in the entity, right? But as per SA 220, what's monitoring they're talking about? It's a quality control procedures that the engagement team has to perform, that the auditor has to perform. With that said, we'll move on to our topic here, independence. With regards to independence, what all the things you have to write? Obtain relevant information to identify and evaluate circumstances and relationships that create threat to independence. You see, if you have got a client and whose son is also an article assistant in your firm, you cannot appoint that son in that engagement team, right? You have to deploy him into another engagement. You see, you have to obtain information with regards to such relationships and evaluate such information on identify breaches. That is, if the information has not got right, or any person in your engagement team was connected directly or indirectly with your client or the company there, you have to take appropriate action. This is what the golden rule is. Whenever you find any kind of irregularities, what you have to take? You have to take some remedial actions. There's appropriate actions here. First, you have to obtain relevant information of threats to independence, then evaluate the breaches, that is non-compliance of this, non-compliance of information. Then with non-compliance, you have to what to take? You have to obtain proper action. That's it with regards to independence. This mostly talking about the engagement team independence to the client. And while talking about the engagement quality control review, for audits of financial statements of listed entities, if the firm had determined that an engagement quality control review is required, that is, this option is available when we audit the financial statements of listed entities. Then what for unlisted entities? There comes peer review, right? Peer review done obviously for all the phases, right? There was an amendment also. Do check out the amendment video. And the engagement partner shall for CA final. Yeah. And the peer review is the chapter only for CA final. CA final students can go and watch that audit amendments audit amendments video. And for the financial statements of listed entities, if the engagement partner think quality control review is required, engagement quality control required, then what he shall do? What he shall do? He should appoint the quality control reviewer. And what he has to do? He has to discuss significant matters and not date the audit report until the completion of engagement quality control review. You see, this point is widely tested in at least once in every examination. They're talking about is that mostly how this point could be asked is like if there were any disputes between any non-compliance or they're not agreeing to something, either the engagement partner or the engagement team, people of the engagement team can, because the responsibility lies with the engagement partner, they'll ask, because the responsibility of the engagement is with helps with the engagement partner can issue the audit report without clarifying all the doubts and disagreements. But he should not do that. He should not sign the audit report unless there were no disagreements. Everything has to be clear. They are also talking about like that only here. They should not date the audit report until the completion of engagement quality control review. You see why you appointed him? You appointed to discuss the significant matters that were arising during the audit engagement, to check the objective to check the objectivity of the client. So he shall not sign the audit report until completion of that. And here the engagement quality reviewer shall evaluate what he shall evaluate, what all the things he had discussed with shall evaluate. What were the things that were discussed? Significant matters were discussed, and any kind of irregularities or difference of opinions were also should be evaluated, should be checked for. And financial statements and proposed auditor's report. Why audit was doing such engagement? He's doing engagement to form an audit report on the financial statements of the entity. So he shall also evaluate the financial statement and a proposed audit report. It's a proposed audit report. Please mention to write here proposed, because he should not issue the audit report until completion of engagement quality control review. And selected audit documentation. While performing the audit, what the auditor gains, what's up his property, audit documentation is his property. So we have to also evaluate the selected audit documentation and conclusions reached and firm's independence that we are talking about. And if in consultation has taken place on matters involving difference of opinion, I have to evaluate all these things. Significant matters, financial statement, proposed audit report, audit documentation, firm independence, any difference of opinions. And in case of difference of opinion, the engagement team shall follow firm's policies and procedures for dealing with and resolving the difference of opinion. They have to follow the SQC1. That's all the quality control procedures they have when there was a difference of opinion. With regards to documentation, what the auditor has to document, he has to document the issues with relevant ethical requirements on how they were resolved. What are they talking about? They're talking about the independence here. Independence is an ethical requirement. This, you see, he has to document what? He has to document the appropriate actions that were taken the issues and the breaches here, and the appropriate actions that were taken, issues with ethical requirements and how they were resolved, conclusions on compliance with independence and all the conclusions that were reached, and conclusions reached regarding acceptance and continuance of client relationships and engagements. That's what the things what that we do prior to the audit. It's a 200 consultations undertaken during the course of the audit engagement. What consultations they're talking about? They're talking about engagement quality control reviewer consultations. And with these things, these are the things that the auditor has to document. You see, whenever you see all the things that the auditor has to document, you have to check for. You see, that is not something from out of nowhere. He documents what all the things that he does under that specific act. In this essay, what he's doing, he's checking for independence. That's what we are all documenting. And he's taking consultation of the engagement quality control reviewer. That's we are documenting. And what are the documentation that have to be done by EQCR? The procedures required by the firm's policies on engagement quality control review have been performed. What he had come for? He had come to check the firm's quality procedures while performing the engagement. What he has to document? He has to document what he's checking, the procedures of the engagement quality firm's policies, and has to review has to be been completed on or before the date of audit report. That again repeating the same thing here. The audit report has to not issue until completion of engagement quality review, and they are saying here the engagement quality control review has to be completed before the sign of audit report. Both were the same. The reviewer is not aware of any unresolved matters that would cause the reviewer to believe that significant judgments the engagement team made and conclusions they reached were not appropriate. He's giving a declaration that all the things he was discussed. You see, audit engagement partner, that is engagement partner, do not discuss all matters. He discussed only significant matters. Now the EQCR is declaring that he was discussed only few points, not all points. He's not unaware. He's not aware of unresolved matters. He's giving a declaration there. And these are the things that he has to document. All the procedures that he had come to check for, and all the and this is something the EQCR has to be completed before signing of audit report, and he is giving a declaration that he is unaware of unresolved matters. And the fundamental principles of professional ethics is all our favorite question. It's talking about only the 5 points: integrity, objectivity, professional competence, and due care, confidentiality, professional behavior. If you read it 2-3 times, you will get that, and mostly will anybody knows this, right? And with that said, and we have come to the end of SA 220. Happy learning. Please leave a like and do share it with your friends.